I grew up in a poor family. I'm the second of 11 siblings, and life was just a constant financial struggle, to have enough, because there were 11 of us, 11 mouths to feed, in addition to my father and mother. There was a very crucial moment when I was 12 years old, and every year I've got to buy school books, and often we don't have the money to buy school books. So my mother had to go to the neighbors to borrow money, to buy my school books. And one day she came back and with tears in her eyes says, "Our neighbors have no money to lend us." So there and then I resolved. I said, I do not want to see my mother cry again. So I would try to study hard, get a good job, so that I can earn enough money that we don't have to borrow money, that we can survive. So I worked 45 years in the public service at a senior level. So naturally I come into contact with the ministers, with the Prime Minister. And because Singapore has had only one political party in government since our independence 58 years ago, so sometimes people intertwined public service with what I call political service. But there is a big distinction because the public service, stands for the administration of the country, right? And political parties may come and go, but the public service represents the continuity. So I think in all those areas where the president has got a role to play, he has to, ask the right questions. If the government wants to draw on the past reserves, it makes a request, to the president, and the president has got to ask questions, Is the amount that you are asking for reasonable? How do you make that assessment? Is this forecast that you are making reasonable? Right? So that's what I mean by, asking the right questions and not just accepting whatever is being recommended by the government. And in order to do that, you need some level of competence. I've spent 45 years investing the reserves. I understand exactly what expected long-term real rate of return means. All right? So I will be in a position to ask those relevant questions. Not so much me, but my fiancée was, you might call it an intrusion into the privacy, But Sybil realized that by me standing for election and she being my fiancée, the people of Singapore would want to know more about her. People have some difficulty with our age difference, right? So, but the fact of the matter is that she's 45 years old. 45 years old is younger than me, but not young. And then people want to know, how come you're not married, right? We wanted to get married, but sadly her mom passed away, just about 2.5 years ago. So out of respect for her mom, we decided that we would postpone our wedding, until 3 years have passed. I was very concerned about the demands, about the you might say we call it suffering, that Sybil had to go through in being my partner. But I think, thankfully, the people of Singapore have been very understanding. So the so-called suffering that I spoke about has been much less than I had feared. Supposing I do not win, all right? Then I would have done my part. that I have facilitated, you might say, an election to take place so that we can have the credibility of the president, and the people of Singapore would have won the right to exercise, the right to choose. I'm not in this for the reward. I don't want to live my life with regret. Let's say in 6 years' time, something happened in Singapore, right? And then I look back and say, Kok Song, you could have done something about it. You didn't. I don't want to have that regret.